Okay. These updates, they're coming out. Okay, I know I said they were a bit slow at the beginning of the year, but now they're non-stop. They're unstoppable. They're coming up fast. Like what? It's been what? 2-3 weeks since the last update? I think it's only been 2 weeks, honestly. And they're already giving us another update with 3 new Omegas. Like, I guess that is better than... I guess it's basically the equivalent of waiting, like, every month we get, like, a whole bunch of new creatures. Instead, this one's like every 2 weeks we get new creatures. Like, we just got introduced to the new Omegas, and I'm pretty sure those who didn't spend any money have at least only gotten, like, level 5 or 6 Omegas. And they're giving us more. And a new feature to make them even more desirable. Like, whoa! When evolving any Omega creature, players will be received training points for that creature. With these points, players can customize their Omega creature stats, which is insane because Omegas already have insane stat distribution. Like Diablo's, in the rare tournament, I found that the abilities were still locked, which was, I thought was weird. I thought they would at least have their level 6 ability unlocked, but maybe they're saying that you have to unlock it yourself to use it in a tournament, which sounds dumb, or they were keeping it all locked on purpose for the sake of not having an Omega that's just, like, dominated, because already, the stats of the Omega are carrying them already. I thought Stegurus would be, like, a bit of the weakest Omega, considering it doesn't unlock its second ability. I mean, its third ability until it becomes a legendary. But it doesn't need it. It's still really strong with the 2 abilities it has already. Oh! And, now we're gonna get to boost their health and damage even more. It's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely insane. The training menu is accessed from the enhancement section of an Omega, and then you can use these to just play around with their stats. Increase, decrease, depending on how you want to do it. It also looks like you can, hang on, although this makes creatures more custom... Okay, no, hang on, where is it? The training menu is to increase their... They can even reset their points to try different builds. So I'm not sure if that means there's a cost. Oh yeah, it says right there, right here, if you want to reset everything, it costs bucks. But I guess that's better than just getting only half of it back, like the stat boosts, which are still the most disappointing. Actually, there's just a lot of disappointing parts of this game, and this one, well, it does look like you can decide how you want to build it, but I don't like that it costs 500 bucks. But then again, I don't use bucks for anything except coin. So, really, it's not that big a deal for me. I do think it is pretty expensive to reset just for 5 training points. Really, it costs 500. It's like 100 bucks per point. Okay, oh well. Let's get on to some... okay, so new dinosaur updates. Let's see that first. Which oldies are getting some love today? Alberto Spinus just gets changed to its reactive ability, which does not affect me or a lot of people at all, because honestly, reactive points aren't worth it for me. But it's like, they're just so expensive to get to that last reactive ability. All that's worth it is the first 2, and then nothing else, really. Nothing else is worth the ridiculous amount it costs just to get that extra health. Spinoconstrictor looks like it's getting a full-on overhaul, so let's see. Precise Rampage becomes Precise Afflicting Rampage, which is a new ability. Instant Distraction becomes Instant Afflicting Distraction, and it gets a little more health. As for Alliance improvements, all they did was overhaul the look of the Alliance hub. This is new as well. With the release of training points, we're also adding a new stat to the fray. Critical damage. The critical damage stat indicates the percentage of damage a creature will deal with a critical hit. For instance, with a critical damage stat of 125%, a creature will deal 125% of its basic damage on a critical hit. The critical damage stat icon sits beside the critical chance icon. And then this stat will be available for all creatures in your collection. I kind of wish... Is it just that they made it so all creatures have the exact same critical damage stat? Or are there certain creatures that deal more damage with a critical hit? I kind of wish they specified that, so I won't have to go around looking, does my Indominus deal more critical damage than Rexy, for example? I wish they specified that. But I guess not. I guess they want to leave that as a surprise factor. Let's read the new abilities right now. Upper Claw. Target highest damage. Attack for a weird amount. Reduce damage by 50% for 4 attacks 2 turns. Target self. Increase critical chance for 25% for 2 turns. Clever Counter. I think we all know where that's going. With the clever, the word clever is highly associated with a certain species. When receiving and surviving damage, remove attacker dodge and cloak, and reduce speed for 1 turn. Does not deal damage though, it just removes. Territorial Strike, that looks like an armor-piercing wound as well as increasing your own armor. Target all opponents, attack ×1, bypassing armor, bleed max HP, and then for itself, increase armor by 10%. That looks like just a free attack as well. So you make them lose, you deal damage, you make them lose some damage, you deal damage, you make them lose some HP, and then you increase your own armor. Playback Rampage. Oh, sorry, Payback Rampage, not Playback. Act Last. Target highest HP. Attack ×2, set amount of damage, not like a weird number. Heal ×1 of damage stat, this is targeting itself. Increase armor by a lot. And then, itself cannot swap until, for the next turn. This does not have a delay, and it can be used every 2 turns. Interesting move. It doesn't bypass armor. It seems like more of a defensive kind of ability. So it's like, alright, this is why it'll work as an act last, because someone will deal damage to you, then you're guaranteed to deal damage to it and heal yourself. So you're basically healing back that damage you took. That's actually pretty solid. That's good. I like the sound of that. Although I don't like the fact that you pin yourself. It does have some drawbacks to it. It's a very risque move. Spike Protection. Are we looking at another armored creature? I'll be honest, I did skim through these notes, so I do know what the new creatures are. So yeah. Target opponent with most positive effects. Afflict. There it is! Affliction! I was just talking about it, and there it is. 25% lasting 2 turns. Also deals some bleed, and looks like it also increases its own armor for 25%. Oh, and a shield for 50%. Got it. A pretty defensive ability. It does have a cooldown of 2, though. And does it actually deal damage? I forgot. Target afflict all is... No, it doesn't look like it deals damage. Unless I'm just missing that. No, it doesn't. Lesser Wounding Counter. When receiving and surviving damage, bleed attacker for 20% 2 attacks. And then, why is it for 2 attacks? Why does it bleed every time it attacks, Ludia? Is that what you're trying to say? No, I know that's not what you're trying to say. You're just very bad at certain things, and this is one of them. Vulnerable for 4 attacks and 2 turns. That's where the 4 attacks... Yeah, that's where the 4 attacks is necessary. It doesn't need it for the bleed. Dig in on escape. I assume that's exactly what it sounds like. It is. It is exact... Although, it's a little out of order, but yes, that is exactly what it sounds like. They could have just... they could have just had the dig in logo rather than just make an entirely new logo for an ability that's been a staple of this game since the early days. Anticipation. Target self, 75% chance to dodge the regular amount, 4 attacks in 2 turns. Increase armor by 50% for 1 turn, and a cooldown of 1. So that's a dodging shield, a shielded sidestep. That's something I've wanted to see for quite some time, actually. Evasive Impact. Target... Wait, wasn't there already a shielded sidestep? Oh no, sorry, this is an armor increasing sidestep. Either way, it's a sidestep with some armor attached to it. Can we have that for Orion now, please? Can we just give Orion, some new abilities to make it good again? I mean, I don't know what's good anymore, because I haven't touched the live arena in, ages. The only time I do is just to get my monthly loss when I enter the arena and just lose a battle, just so I can say I have my trophies set. It's annoying. Evasive... This is self-explanatory of how stupidly the naming has gotten. Instant Afflicting Distraction. This is for the, what's the name? Sorry, the Spina Constrictor. Is it... Okay, so... Damage opponents. Afflict all resistances by 50%. Oh! Spino Constrictor getting some love here. Not only is it going to be reducing your damage by 100%, but it's also going to be reducing your resistances by a lot. That is very good. Very good for Spino Constrictor. And then on top of that, Precise Afflicting Ram, 2 abilities that reduce, well, this one's not as strong. By 15%, okay, sure. But still, that's good. That's Spino Constrictor. This move, however, is going to be pretty meta-relevant. Yeah, that is going to be cool. Now, are we going to get some creatures that have, like, the reverse of Affliction? Like, Reinforce? I think that's already a word they use, but, like, an ability that basically makes it so they increase their resistances? Someone who's, like, partially resistant to... Like, can we have Antarctic Venator be able to boost its stun resistance? Pounce and Bite. That sounds like a Raptor move. Target current lowest HP. Is that something for raids? Eventually, they're going to have, like... Oh, is this like... So, during a raid, it targets someone who has the lowest HP, but then if someone is acting first, and then they hit that creature, and then they have lower HP, does that mean it'll now target that guy instead? I think that's what it's trying to say. Attack 1.5, reduce damage, and then cooldown 1. Elimination Strike. That's a very generic look. Okay, target current lowest HP, deal a weird amount of damage. Okay, sure. That's a bunch of abilities. One of them is just an absolutely insulting the intelligence of Ludia and their competence. But now let us see the new creatures. Let me just remove that. And that's just part of the training thing. It's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. I already made a post on this one. Boom! The first thing you see is a gray Velociraptor. Clever girl. Honestly, this raptor does not look very sinister. It looks friendly. This looks like a very holy raptor, if I'm being honest. Like with the glow behind its head, and like the eye looks very calm, and with the mouth just closed. It just looks like a very friendly raptor. And despite the description showing that it basically likes to hunt humans. Clever girl is a cunning, high-damage dodger. Group Cunning Strike, that's a move that already exists. Upper Claw, which is just an instant attacking move, which we already read that one. I forgot to see if it was spammable or not. Clever Counter, which we already saw, is just removes Cloak and Dodge and reduces speed, so you'll always have the upper hand in speed. Again, another one where the counter gets unlocked before the third ability. Evasive Hunt, that one is Evasive Hunt, what is that? Oh, yes, that's Byleth's move. Oh, dang. Clever Girl's gonna be very annoying. But it does make sense to give it a hunting of that move. And then Hunt on Escape, which is probably exactly what it sounds like. It's gonna gain 100% chance to dodge 100% of damage while increasing its damage and then increasing its speed. Cautious Double Impact. I don't think I saw that anywhere in the patch notes. But I assume it's exactly what it sounds like. It deals the equivalent of an impact, but in bursts. Unless it's like 2 impacts at the same time. Triple Strike is basically a devastation. So double impact, this is basically a devastation. 2 impacts in a row. Oh, okay. That sounds cool. And now we have this ugly bugger. This is a very ugly looking dinosaur. Like, it's very rare I'll look at a real-life dinosaur and say it looks ugly, but this dude is very ugly. It's just that when I see a raptor without feathers, it just looks so ugly. I don't like it. Ugh. Discovered in the Fukui Prefecture of Japan. Fukui raptor is a member of the enigmatic clade Megaraptora. These are a group of medium theropods resembling both large carnivores like Tyrannosaurids and the smaller, more slender raptors. I bet it's the raptor animation because this is a pose that that Deinonychus is already very highly associated with. So I'm betting that's the raptor animation. Or they could go that extra mile and make a whole brand new animation for the Megaraptorids. Then we can have Megaraptor, Sinraptor, Orcaraptor. They could all come to the game. I guess, more chances to make more Omegas to shove those $140 deals at us. Just throwing ideas here. Cunning and Resilient Cannon. Oh, Resilient as well. Elimination Strike, which deals a weird amount of damage. Pounce and Bite. Anticipation. Okay, it unlocks all 3 abilities at level 6. Persistent Counter, which is just a very pathetic amount of Well, actually, no, that one affects the whole team. So I think they're trying to say this is like a raid creature. You bring this guy for raids. That explains why we're getting like a... But then again, it has dig in on escape. Yeah. Rename that because there's 100% evasive impact. Blue has evasive impact. So yeah, just... Archaeopteryx, one of your more recent creatures, has evasive impact. So change that name to... I don't know, cleansing evasive impact or something. We have this spiky dragon-looking thing that really reminds me of Skeletosaurus, except without hands. Yuxuisaurus means Yuxi lizard, named for the Yuxi locality of China. What are these, two Chinese dinosaurs? No, this one's Japan. This one is from China. Got it. Discovery of the Yuxuisaurus in 2021 proved the presence of the armored ornithoceti in the dinosaur Theroporia in Asia. So this is probably the first time I've heard of this. This is full on the first time I've heard of either of these species, honestly. It makes sense because this guy was only discovered like 2 years ago. Territory, okay, what are you? Resilient defense, fierce and resilient defensive wounder. Interesting choice. Wait, what were you? Were you just cunning resilient? Yes, you were. Interesting how they're really bringing back the dual typings for these Omegas, which I'm not opposed to. I always complained how Stegosaurs were basically resilient fierce, but then they made them full-on resilient for the sake of the rebalance, and they all became terrible. Every single Stegosaur is not really usable anymore. Territorial Strike, Resilient Rampage, Payback Rampage, a very odd ability to give this dude. Lesser Wounding Counter and Dig In on Escape as well. You both have Dig In on Escape, okay. And then at level 21, you unlock the Affliction. Oh, you have to be a unique in order to unlock that Affliction, which I guess makes sense since uniques tend to have a ton more resistances compared to rares and epics, and even legendaries. Okay, this update is probably going to come out next Tuesday. So I will see you when that day comes. I would honestly, these updates are coming a lot sooner than expected. So yeah, expect a lot more Joe on the channel from this point on. I'm going to eat those words later when they suddenly say we need to take a break in order to make the next update really big. 3 new Omegas. I really hope this means they're going to increase the, because according to Dinosaur Rotations, Clever Girl, of course, is event exclusive, but Yuxi and Fukui are on the map. If we're doing the whole thing where if it's still, you only have 6 Omega, you can only dart 6 Omegas a week, that's going to make grinding Omegas very difficult, so I really think they should either A, remove that shot limit entirely, because it is just completely hinderancing the game, or just have it so that you can just like 7, change it to 7 attempts a week, because that means 1 Omega each day. It makes sense, like adoy. And then secondly, just making it 7 per creature. You get 7 attempts on Diablo, 7 attempts on Stegurus, and then 7 attempps on that new dinosaur. 7 attempts on either of these guys. Granted, I don't think I really want to hunt these guys because, well, I know they're gonna be OP and the game wants me to get them, but it's like I'd much rather. Diabloceratops is really the only one that I actively want to hunt because I like Diabloceratops. I've never heard of Stegurus, and I don't want to hunt it just because it's good. I want to hunt it because I like it. And Stegurus is growing on me though because its tail looks amazing. It's amazing looking dinosaur. This guy, on the other hand, this guy's ugly as Sinraptor. So I don't want to hunt him. This dude, on the other hand, he honestly looks like a dragon. You could argue that all dinosaurs look like dragons, but this guy really looks like a dragon, so that's something I would consider hunting. But really, Diabloceratops is the one I want to hunt the most. And that's the end of me rambling for 23 minutes. I will ramble for another 23 minutes when the update comes out. See you till then.